What's going on, guys? This video going to talk about tanks, issue we had on a lease, and why I love tanks. The tank battery separator, it is one of the easiest value add places in a lease. When you're buying a lease, if the tanks are crap, you use it to drive down the price. It's a lot like kitchens and bathrooms in a house. The price value that good tanks have are a lot more than what it costs to put new tanks. So if you've got a lease and the tanks are bad, with the downturn right now, you can get service equipment very cheap, and so you drop the purchase price because of the tanks, but in reality the price that comes off the deal is a lot more than what you're going to spend to fix it. So we've got this lease here. Let me turn around. These are the tanks that we are dealing with. Just rotted out, holes, everything. We got all this here, and very quickly on inspection said, okay, these tanks ain't no good. This ain't gonna work. And we went, got some gently used tanks, and we're going to put them in. And then when we were actually going to put them in, the operator next door, his pumper came by and said, oh, by the way, this entire area floods when it rains heavy. So that got us thinking. It's like, oh crap. So now we moved them to high ground. I don't know if you can see way over there. I hope you can see it there. But yeah, we moved the tanks to high ground to do it, and we're going to look at those too. It's still work in progress. We got a lot of stuff to do on this lease. Been working with the Railroad Commission. Shout out to them. They've been extremely understanding in this lease. But yeah, these tanks are horrible. Got more tanks over there that we've taken out as well. But whenever you look at tanks, as I said before, they're highly valuable, and you don't want bad tanks, because a hole in a tank and you could lose all your money. So if there's any question with the tanks, go out, and there's a relic, go out and buy new ones. There's some more tanks over there. I apologize, guys, the screen on this camera is hard to see, but yeah, just check the tanks, and make sure your tanks are good. I seriously can't stress that enough. These were just rotted all out. One of the tanks over there, it had an oil at about 6 feet, so whenever oil got to that, it just started leaking out, and they tried to, almost looks like that rubber stuff they tried to fill it with. But definitely check the tanks. A lot of times the bottoms will rot before anything else. So when you go to move tanks, if you're buying tanks, check the bottom, because that's where the rot's going to happen first. If they've had water in them, that's important. But let's go check out the other side now. Ooh, that's a big boy. Goodness gracious. Rundown of our system here. We've still got to put the firewall, which basically is like just a barrier around all the way around. This is our separator. Some call it a knockout. Like, you got a little bit of everything. You can kind of get out of the wind. I don't know if you can hear the fluid going through. So it comes from the pipeline coming through. You got a well right over there. Little stripper. Got snow coming in, unfortunately. Winter storm coming. Fluid goes in over there, comes in, and separates up here. As you can see, oil sits on top of water, goes in, goes around, then goes around to the oil tank. Right there, goes up, goes into the tank. Just kind of slowly builds pressure and loads. On the smaller wells like this, it's not kind of splashing in. It's a lot cooler on the bigger wells because the oil comes splashing in. And then there's a plunger in here for the water. And when the water gets so high, it opens the valve down here, and then the water does the same. It goes up and into the water tank. As you can see, this is fiberglass. You always want fiberglass for salt water because it's just so corrosive. Then, of course, you got steel over here for the oil. These are the, I guess, valves you call them, where they get the oil out. And then on our salt water over here, this is where it goes to be re-injected back into the zone. This is it's just water pump. It's got a motor that powers it. It just takes the water and sends it back to an injection well over there. This setup here, as you can see, this actually fell over. We had it in there. Bad windstorm, rain, just tipped it over. So we've added a little bit to it. If you've seen my other posts, you probably saw us talking about it, but put concrete down and added an additional post. This is like the wind capital of North Texas up in Clay County, so make sure everything's good for wind. But this is set. Right now it's off, but we also have a timer set up, so if we switch it to auto, it'll run 30 minutes a day. But there's just not enough fluid for it, so we've got some more wells to get up and running. But it's basically our oil tank set up. Hopefully after this ice storm goes through, we'll be able to get the firewall and everything set up on it. But yeah, thanks for watching. Please follow, like, and share the content.